I guess it's a Sonic the Hedgehog panel.
Oh, I've heard of it.
It's a good game.
I heard
He's
he's
going to talk about.
as a porcupine, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Listen to Sonic for a half hour.
Do we take questions? Is that how it works?
Is it a Q&A panel?
I don't know. It is?
Oh, it's a Q&A panel. Cool.
Let's get some cues.
Cool. Yeah. Personal questions are the best.
Yeah. About him.
Yeah, do we want to wait for Lisa? We don't want to leave her
No,
out,
let's
right?
not wait for Lisa.
Or do we start without her? What do you
Yeah,
think?
start with that.
Well, she'll be in when she's in, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Sonic, you should run the panel then.
There you go.
He's talking to you.
I think if we're talking the OG video game Sonic.
All right. Well, let's talk about questions and try to answer them. Does that sound like fun?
I like those.
Okay. As long as 3 of you think so. All right. Let's start in the front row.
This is for Jason.
Leo's going to read something off the phone.
Oh, wait, can we do something for each one of these? First, tell us your name.
Oh, my name's Leo.
Everybody say hi, Leo. Hi, Leo. Okay.
So for Jason, in a serious shadow voice, could you say, today when my teacher said good morning, I said bad morning?
Today, when my teacher said good morning, I said bad morning.
Great quote. Yes, my friend.
Oh my gosh, hello,
Noah.
Hi, Noah.
Hi,
Yeah,
Noah.
dude.
Amazing. Okay, quick question for, I forgot your name, sorry.
I'm John.
John, you like Big the Cat? I heard that you never wanted to do Big the Cat and that you actually hated doing Big the Cat, and why was that?
Okay.
Yeah,
Big the Cat is a beloved
We heard
character.
that you hate everything about this franchise.
That's funny how those rumors get spread around. I hate the voice I did for Big the Cat. And can I tell this story?
Yeah.
Ryan, that day, Ryan was this is in San Diego. Ryan was in the booth recording when I walked in. Now, Lonnie Manella, the lady who cast us for the game, she called me. She and I have been working together for many years because of Duke Nukem. She cast me for Duke Nukem, too. So she said, John, I need you to be in this studio in Kearney Mesa on Saturday, 10 a.m. We're going to do this Sonic the Hedgehog game. And I went, wow, Sonic the Hedgehog, yeah. Send me the sides and the pictures. She goes, I don't have that for you yet. We haven't determined who you are yet. What? I've never had a gig not tell me what part I had.
You're John.
So I show up, and I walk in, and she shows me this picture of Big the Cat. And I went, wow, that's a big, dumb-looking character. And she went, exactly. And I went, oh, well, thank you for considering me for this one. And so, do you remember they had somebody leaned against the
turn them
light
all
switch.
off.
Yeah.
Remember they had the Japanese director, I think,
Yes.
from Tokyo,
Yeah,
in our
like 5 of
headphone.
them.
Well, you could hear them through the control room.
Yeah, it's just
and
muttering in Japanese on the other side of the line.
and Lonnie goes, okay, let's give him a big dumb voice. And I was just warming up. We were just testing the mic to make sure it was good. I went, I can't find my froggy. Wait, you don't look so good. I went, okay, and then I hear this talking in my headphones. It's the Japanese director. And Lonnie goes, okay, they like that. And I went, what? No. No, I can do something better than that. And she goes, no, they like that. And so I had to do all of the whole character like this. And I think it's the stupidest voice I've ever done. So Noah, I don't hate Big the Cat. Big the Cat is lovely. His adventure fishing game is fun. I can't believe people spend too much time on that part of the game, though they do. And so I've never hated Big the Cat at all. I love Big the Cat.
At least you did Omega. You did Omega.
Yeah, but that's not acting. That was only reading. Because when you have a character that has no inflections whatsoever and you're just talking like this and they're going to add an effect to it, that is not acting, but I got paid to do it, so yay for me.
He didn't blink once. That was incredible.
I'm like,
Thank you for your question, Noah.
all right, who else has got a cue? Yes, second row. Hey, you bought my plushie. That's not a euphemism. He bought
Tell
my
everybody
plushie.
your name.
My name is Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Joe. You guys missed your cue. That's...
I just got a music question for Big the Cat.
Oh.
Can you say "Hail to the King, baby" in the big voice?
How about I've got balls of steel? Hail to the cat, baby.
Dio rules, by the way.
Yeah.
You're the last in line, Joe. All right, who's next? In the back. Yes, my friend from Israel.
What's your name, sir?
Hello, my name is Daniel, everyone.
Hi, Daniel.
Daniel, everyone.
Are you from the New Jersey, everyone's?
So I know that Jason before voiced multiple characters in the Sonic franchise, like Sonic, Shadow, and Jet. Ryan, my question is actually for you. What was it like to play Sonic and then play Knuckles in Sonic Shuffle?
Oh, yeah. It was actually really fun because I spend so much time talking way up here like this. And so it was kind of fun just to do something that was a little bit different.
I got chills. Can you do that again?
No. And so some of you know this story, I'm sure, but when they auditioned for Sonic Shuffle, they had us all do it, and it was a blind audition. So the people who were choosing the voices didn't know who it was. They were listening to sound files and saying who they liked. And they happened to pick me for Sonic, and then they also picked me for Knuckles, and they didn't realize it was the same person. And at the time, Sega had this thing where they were like, we don't want one actor doing more than one voice. And so Lonnie Manella, who John just mentioned, she came in and she was just like, okay, here's the situation. They picked you for 2 of these roles. Would you like to do both? And I said, yeah, of course I'd like to do both. And she said, okay, so Sonic is being voiced by Ryan Drummond, but Knuckles is being voiced by
Ryan Drummond.
And I said,
Jaleel
well, my
White.
middle name is Sean. And she was like, okay, great. And she's like, what's a good last name? And I looked around the room and there was something chrome over the wall. And I was like, Silver? And she said, okay. Knuckles is being voiced by Sean Silver, not Ryan Drummond, Sean Silver. And so I did the whole thing. And then Sega found out about it after the game was released, and they were really pissed off at me.
Oh, man.
No, it's all good. They just fired me and
that's
him.
when I got the
No,
job.
I'm kidding.
So,
no.
and then I pissed Sega off, and then Roger has a job now. So,
No, but it was really fun to do, and it was almost more fun to do because it was under the radar, and it was as an alias, and I've never got to do that before or since. So it was really fun. And it's fun to have a scene with yourself. Who doesn't like that, you know? That's really fun. Yeah.
Thank you, Brent.
Yeah, thank you. Is anyone else before we go back to Noah for his 2nd, 3rd, and 8th question? Yes. Who? Oh.
Hi all, my name is Garrett,
Hi,
Hi,
Garrett.
and my question relates to a fan project online called Sonic and Tails R.
Woo!
Brian Drummond plays Sonic, but what's interesting is they brought a bunch of other other cast members from other generations of the Sonic voices, such as Jason Griffith as Shadow and Lisa Ortiz as Amy. And my question that I also asked Roger last time he was here at SAC Anime is, would the 3 of you, Brian, Jason, and Roger, ever consider doing a fan project that is similar to Spider-Man No Way Home, where 3 Sonics get together on an adventure?
Oh.
Because I think I need that in my life.
We would love nothing more. Am I right on that?
Yeah, the thing is, with there's so many fan projects and there's so many people that reach out to us to do them that you really have to. It has to be the right project, and it has to be up to a certain standard. Especially because time is very short, and so is money, and so you really have to, it has to be of a certain quality, certain standard. Like Sonic and Tails R was, I think it even had some sort of approval from Sega.
It did. Eminem Dorian got approval from Sega to use Mike Pollock, A, and then B, for they sent them all the scripts and made sure that they were on board with everything, so they did it right.
Yeah, so so to do every single fan project would be, there'd be no time to...
It'd be a full-time job.
To eat. So
or breathe.
Yeah, but I'm sure one day that could happen. Hopefully it's not with AI, but could be.
The hope is that, ladies and gentlemen, Lisa Ortiz.
Lisa Ortiz! Amy! Oh, always a headache.
I would say sorry, but I'm not.
All right, and everybody has to move over so I can sit between the Sonics.
Oh.
Get over.
Oh, good
There you
idea.
go. Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You get the blue one, and I get the red one. How's that possible?
Oh, that's weird,
Yeah.
but that's okay.
It's purple.
Ah, here I am between the Sonics where I belong.
It's a Sonic sandwich.
Yes.
It's an Amy sandwich with Sonic bread. And a side of John St.
A
John.
lot of stuff has happened. And a side of Johnson.
I'm the mayo.
You've always been.
A side of big.
So to put a cherry on that Sunday, we all think that having all of us back, me, Jason, and Roger, to do like some sort of into the Sonic universe kind of deal would be a great idea for the third movie. So that's what we're hoping. We're hoping.
This is how rumors get started.
That's exactly how ideas get planted.
As long as they resurrect Big the Cat, I'm down with that. Yeah.
Exactly. There you go.
Big the Cat in the multiverse.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. That's you. Yeah. Maroon shirt.
What's your name?
My name is Xavier.
Hi, Xavier.
Xavier.
Okay, you probably get this question asked a lot. This is for Ryan Drummond. How often do you get confused for Brian Drummond?
At least once a day. Yeah. Brian is a lovely guy. We've actually never been in the same room in real life because there would be a rip in the space-time continuum, and we don't want that. He's a great guy, though, and we got in touch with each other a long time ago over, I think it was Twitter, and said, I get a lot of your mail, and he's like, I get a lot of your mail. So, yeah, we're not related. That's the question we get all the time because, your names are very similar, same last name, both voice actors. What are you going to do? But not related. But we talk often, and we always congratulate each other when we get different jobs and stuff like that. So he's a great guy. I hope to meet him someday in real life. But yeah, not related, just good friends.
There's another. This is what I think is crazy. I'm a huge Elvis fan, and there's a Jason Griffith out there who is an Elvis impersonator.
No way.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
And also to piggyback on what you said, I got Jeff Goldblum's royalty check once.
Did you really?
I did. I opened it up like, I don't remember what project. Why am I making so much money? That says Jeff Goldblum. Oh.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of awesome. Did you cash it?
No, well, yeah,
Okay,
of course
yeah.
I'm in prison right now.
Yes.
It's a hologram,
That guy's
everyone.
cutthroat.
I do a great Tupac as well.
That's good. That's good.
Sir.
Hi, I'm Joey.
Hi, Joey.
From Game Explain Subscribe. This one is for Jason. I need to know what it was like recording that line. Where's that damn fourth chaos?
It was a dream come true because I got to say damn in a video game. Also, the first video game I ever worked on. So all the stars aligned, And I don't know if you were here before, but I mentioned that because at the time they didn't know what the rating of the game was. So they do the let's just cover our ass recordings where you say a bunch of things that don't make it into the game. So somewhere on a DAT file out there is Shadow saying way worse things. And it just didn't make it into the game.
Wow, you got to say damn in a video game? Really?
For a 22-year-old, that's a dream come true, man.
Hey.
Sir.
Hi, my name's Daniel.
Hello,
Hi,
Daniel.
Yeah.
First off, I just want to say thank you for, all four of you for voicing, not only the past Sonics, but lovable characters like the cat and Amy. This means a lot to me. That played Sonic. Excuse me. As a kid, and I'm recently getting nostalgic over them, so
Yeah.
want to go back to every single Sonic game and play them all in fully.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have a voice request for Jason and Ryan. Can you both do the I Found You Baker scene?
Scene?
I was going to say, does anyone have a
Line.
script to
To
that?
have the script pulled out. Yes.
Does anyone have the script to that scene?
How about if we just say I found you, Faker?
Yeah, sure.
I found you, Faker!
You're the faker.
You're the Faker!
Get over here and bring a chili dog.
Oh, give me a hug, Faker!
Okay, come here.
You're the realist!
You're so warm.
That was even better. We'll make our own scene.
Did you just... was the last thing you said, you're so warm?
Yeah, you got a problem with that? I was just picturing them hugging, and I was like,
Warm.
yeah.
Sonic Hat.
Sonic Hat.
Hey, my name is Leon.
Hi,
Hey,
Leon.
Leon!
Leon!
Hey, I'm the burnt orange on
Uh-oh.
Okay, so you're in Hidden Palace Zone. This is Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and Robotnik takes your Master Emerald. Please give your most heartfelt "Oh no" about it.
You want like a heartfelt one, not like a screaming in agony one? Because I can out-scream that baby. Okay, I'm going to give you both.
Oh no!
And
Oh no!
take that, baby. That's
All right, now let's vote on which one we like better.
Number 2.
Number two.
I'll go
Number
with
two.
2 as well.
Two.
All right, 2 wins.
Watch out, baby. There you go.
I'm coming for you, baby.
Come in for your screaming.
Sir with the Pikachu.
Yeah. An iconic line
Oh, yeah.
in the career.
The very first episode of Sonic X I recorded, there was a tongue twister line that I had to do probably 7 or 8 times until I got it right because I was so nervous and my mouth didn't work that way at the time. So now I'm able to say it very quickly, which is, remember, don't use Formula One race cars when chasing hedgehogs.
I had many lines, but at the end of the day, they all come down to Sonic! I'm coming after him. It's fine.
Mine has to be,
Talk about low-budget flights. No food or movies. I'm out of here. I like running better.
Good.
that's the one they all want.
So I have to do this, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Where's my froggy? You don't look so good, little buddy. Have you seen my froggy?
That's not my most iconic line, however.
No.
Your face, your ass, what's the difference?
Can you imagine Big the Cat saying that? Really?
Yes.
Questionable.
Your face, your ass, what's the difference?
Doesn't have the same impact, does
No,
it?
no.
It doesn't quite play.
You're so warm.
I'm impacted.
All right, we back to Noah. Anybody else? All right.
Triangle.
Lisa, how
Yes.
did you get the voice of Amy from Sonic X, and how did you even get the voice for Amy and the rest of the game?
Yeah.
How did I get them? I stole them from a mermaid in the ocean. When I saw her, when we first saw her when we were doing auditions, I was like, "Oh my gosh, she's so cute!" And so we were playing with that, and so that was where she was kind of born. I had heard a little bit. Did you just drop your mic? Was the mic drop on that? I see how this
Wait
is.
till after the story.
See, exactly. Wait for the mic drop.
They have pills for that.
But yeah. So when I went to see her, I actually hadn't heard the Amy before that. But I saw her. She came in. So she was little and cute, and that was sort of where we went with her. It took me a little while to get into her voice because she's so sweet and she's also so violent. Not violent. She's just very particular.
I had some girlfriends like that.
I know. No, I don't know. That was a Sonic Amy thing. Come on, this is Chris. Don't his wife.
Do you remember the original Amy and who she was?
I do know who she was, and it was Do you
Specifically,
meet her?
Ryan, do
Yeah.
you remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Who was it?
Amy Douillard.
Yeah.
Jenny Douillard.
Jenny Douillard.
Who is now Jenny Hellman.
Wow.
Do you know where she came from and how she got the gig?
Hellman's
No,
mayonnaise.
how did she?
Through me.
Really?
Jenny was the receptionist at Fox Channel 6 in San Diego.
Wow.
And every time people would call the TV station, they thought she was a recording because her voice was ridiculous. No offense to anyone.
Oh, no.
Her natural voice sounds like you doing Amy.
That's crazy.
And I said to her, "You've got to come be in video games. You have a cartoon voice that is unbelievable." And she goes, "Really, you think so?" I'm like, Yeah. Come meet my friend Lonnie Manella. And so she
never knew that.
She was the first Amy because of her squeaky voice.
And she looked like that
That's
voice too.
interesting.
She was adorable, but she
Yeah.
had no acting chops. And she wouldn't mind me saying that today. She admits it. You've got acting chops. So I'm glad you sound like Jenny Douillard.
That is good. I literally did not have any idea when I first came into it, and then
Really?
Yeah, no, I did not.
Was it
Came
your
in-
first? It wasn't your first gig.
It was
in
one
video
of the
games.
first few that I had done.
No
so
kidding.
It was So
Wow.
I came in. We had that, and then I think it was afterwards that I got
And
to
yet
hear her
your
stuff.
voice is so iconic in the
Yeah,
game. And
which
it was
is-
your first
It
Wow.
was one of the first.
Meant to
Yeah,
be.
that was in the first few. I was like in the
Wow.
first few years of.
So you and I have that kind of in common because Duke Nukem was my first game.
Yeah.
And wow, talk about luck of stepping into,
Yeah,
your
of
first
stepping
role
into
is something that takes off.
Yeah. and
Wow.
it's-
My
yeah,
first
it's
role
very
was a
cool.
Zit commercial.
Did you
And
play the
that'll-
Zit?
I was the
Yes, he was.
I was the 17-year-old who just wasn't sure of himself and full of zits.
Were you
That-
popping?
I was still popping, man.
Yeah, it was the live stream at the
You
time.
just want to squeeze
It
him
was
now, don't you? Don't you want to just squeeze him?
He's so warm.
It's very cool. But yes.
Oh,
yeah.
where are we going? Oh, triangle.
So that was one of the things we had, and then they sort of worked with me as we were going through. And at some point, they had the Japanese in the room as well, and that was always my favorite thing. There was one video game that we had that the Japanese producer actually got down on his knees so that he could reenact Amy Rose, which I
Nice.
didn't know that getting on your knee, he had to make himself short. So that was very fun. Well, you're welcome.
For Sonic Adventure 2, this is just a side note, they actually had the entire team from Japan came. And so there was like 6 non-English speaking folks in the room, and they all had thoughts and had things to say about every line that you did, and they all funneled it through one translator. And so
boy.
one of my favorites, which some of you probably heard this story, is that I did some line. I don't remember what it was. Doesn't matter. But I said whatever it was. Let's say,
Boy, I really want a chili dog.
and so they were like, "Oh, okay," and they're talking, and and I see on the other side of the glass, I see the translator going, okay, and he gets on the talk back and he says, "Okay, they said do it faster yet slower."
Okay.
And I said, I don't know what to do with that. And he just went, "I don't know, man, just do it different." And so I just went,
Wow, I really want a chili dog.
"Oh, good, yes, good, good." And I just looked at the translator. He was like, "Wow." But that was challenging and fun. And actually, Lonnie Manella, her job that day was to make sure that all the things that we did were Americanized. Because, and the one that I remember was that they had me climbing a ladder, and we had to do what they call emotives or emotes, where you just make the noise of, you're hit by a bullet, you're hit, different things. And Sonic was climbing a ladder, and so they had me go, just exertion noises. And the guy who was working with me said, "Oh, no. Hi-ya, hi-ya. And it was Lonnie who was just like, no, we don't do that here. We don't say hiya. No. We go, we're doing what he does. That's what we do in America. And he was like, "Oh, okay." So if it wasn't for Lonnie, you would have heard me just doing normal Sonic stuff and then get to a ladder and go, hiya. Luckily, it didn't happen that way. So thanks, Lonnie. All right, Tails hat.
Hello, I'm Joshua.
Hi,
Joshua.
Joshua.
So I have a question for all 4 of you. What is your favorite Crush 40 song from? It could be like from
Ooh.
your games or just a song that you really appreciate from that group.
I'm not even good at
What
memorizing.
I think a better
karaoke
question
songs.
is, can you name one Crush 40 song? Isn't there one called like Green Hill Zone? No, I don't know. I don't know any of Crush 40 songs, unfortunately.
I'm sure
Oh,
you
I do.
After you will know more after I pull up the.
I
Yeah, I
love
was gonna
Blue.
say, let's pull it up.
Blue Hawaii is a great one. Return to Sender. Hound Dog.
No, that's the Elvis list.
Oh darn! It's Elvis 40. Anyway,
I know
So-
one had like a really funny title that I loved. I'm trying to find it.
I will tell you. You know what I like? Jamiroquai's song "Supersonic." That's my favorite.
Supersonic.
Sonic. That's a great song.
Supersonic.
I'll say that's by Crush 40, and that's my final answer.
Oh, I found it. Down and Dirty. Hilarious. Love it. Love it. That one's old. That was like 8 years old, but I love it. Yeah, they had, for any of you who were at the Sonic Expo in Dallas about a month ago, Crush 40 played at the opening ceremony? Closing ceremony? Opening ceremony.
Was anybody here in Dallas?
Well, that's fair.
See,
That was kind of cool because I didn't know that Johnny and all them were going to be there until we actually got there. And then they're like, well, Crush 40's playing tonight. I was like, no way. Johnny's just walking around the room. It was cool. That guy is the Energizer Bunny. He's 117 years old. Did you know that? And he can just sing his face off, and he's just limitless energy. I don't know. I think it's... No, cover your ears. I think... No, I'm kidding. Just kidding. No. Did either one of you want to talk about your Crush 40 crushes?
I couldn't name a song.
Okay.
Sorry.
no, and then I was going to talk about Sonic Youth, but it was I know that's a Crush 40 song, but it's a
I
different.
like that.
I could talk about Sonic Burger.
I could talk about Sonic Burger,
That's
too.
a tasty
had one.
burger.
Tasty. We'll have to. We'll work on this.
We'll get more familiar with Crush 40 as we go on. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Katie.
Hi, Katie.
So I technically have 2 questions, if that's okay.
No! Yeah, it's fine.
What is your favorite memory you had in a recording group? Like a moment that was funny to you, or something that you remembered that stayed with you?
Does it have to relate to Sonic the Hedgehog games? Mine would be recording the original Duke 3D game. And Lonnie Manella, her name comes up an awful lot. Lonnie likes to over-explain scenes often when you're going to record a line and then you lose perspective altogether. But there was this one scene where Duke walks into the bridge of a ship and he sees the captain's log there. And she says to me, okay, John, now you're going to walk in and Duke is going to find the log. It's not a log out of the toilet. It's not a turd. And okay. The captain's log. I could not get the line out without laughing thinking about that. And it became a viral clip on the internet because I had to get myself out of that frame of mind. So I went, dead babies, dead babies, dead babies, dead babies. All right.
Oh, good. That's good. That's good mantra.
The captain's log. I finally got it down, but it became a famous line because of what Lonnie directed me to say. I'll always remember that.
I have a in the booth story and an out of the booth story. The in the booth story was okay. Well, that's not my story to tell. I do have a good memory of someone coming into the booth and then knocking over all the equipment, which was and then afterwards.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's okay. It's super close. But that was funny. But I did record things and stab myself in the hand with a pencil because I was so full in there. Because I was gesturing like this, and at the time I was at Button Sound. I don't know if you ever record at Buttons. There's a small booth, and I went like this with a pencil in my hand, and then the pencil was in my hand, and I was like, I have suffered for my art. That was it. But the other stuff, it's not recording in sessions, but Jason and I were always booked back to back. I probably have I told you guys if you guys were here earlier, but you always had your like gallon jug of water. So he had a gallon jug of water every time he went. And I told you guys this story earlier. So, so I would follow him. He was always booked before me. And, I came up behind him one day and I was like, where's your water bottle? And it was Adrian Grainer because from Entourage because they both had curly hair and he apparently hung out at like the Black Orchid that was around the corner. And
I remember that.
And I remember that too. And then I never, ever, ever said hello to anyone on the street again.
What did he say? Did he just like...
No, he said this. It was sort of, that was it. It was just no words.
Typical Adrian.
Yeah, typical Adrian. Just being like that. I was always sad. But that was it. That's...
two little memories stick out. Number one, the very first recording session I had in aforementioned Zit commercial. That was one of my very, very first voiceover jobs, and I was so intimidated because, nobody prepares you for when you go into the booth and you put the headphones on and you're only hearing yourself. And at that time, I was so young that I thought I should only do the copy like how I did my audition. And it still, makes me nauseous to this day to just think of them doing take after take after take, trying to get me to do something different. And I was so locked into my performance that finally the producer came into the room and said, you know how you did it during the audition? Yeah, don't do it like that anymore. Be good. And I was like, Okay. So I think I was like 19 at that time. That's really, it really helped me get the work done and get replaced on that commercial.
Jason, we're going to need you to turn the suck knob down a little bit.
Exactly. And then the other impression I had was recording season 1 of Sonic X. There was a scene, there was an episode with Sonic and a girl in a wheelchair. And yes.
I think they know it.
And I forget what it was. There was something I did, and one of the producers / directors, Michael Hagney, was in the room. And it was the first time I did something, and he burst into laughter. And it was the very first time I remember getting a laugh in a booth like that. And it always stuck with me. And there was just like a little glimmer of like, I think I can do this, just that feeling of hope when you do something and feel like you did it right,
And look at you today, seasoned professional.
That's right.
I remember the year was 2002. No, I think it was, or maybe it was 2003. Anyway, this is just a little glimpse into the biz, because not only was and is I've always been a voiceover actor, but I've also done a lot of stage acting. I started off doing theater, and I've done it ever since. It was a family business. My dad directed me, actually, my first 10 shows, but that's aside. So in the summer of 2003, I was working at this theater in San Diego called Lambs Players. It's in Coronado, for those of you who know the area. And we were running this show the entire summer. It was called Cotton Patch Gospel. And it was a retelling of Bible stories in a southern vernacular. So instead of the bread and the wine for the body and the blood, it was a moon pie and a grape knee high. So everything was a deep South retelling of Bible stories, and it was a hoot, and it was great. But the thing is that it was only a 3-person show, and it was one of those shows where you never left the stage. And there was clogging involved and square dancing, and there were hay bales all over the stage, and there were rafters you had to climb up in. And so what I'm trying to say is that the show was an absolute sweat bath. Like every night you were just drenched because it was so much effort to get through a single performance. And we did 8 shows a week, which is standard. And at the time, we were making $550 a week, which at the time was kind of pretty good for the area. But imagine $550 a week for doing 8 shows a week for the entire summer. And about a month into that run, I got a call from an ad agency in Chicago, and they said, "Hey, we have a job for you." And I said, "Great." And they said, they are putting Sonic the Hedgehog toys in Happy Meals in England. And we're doing a spot for that, a commercial. And this is going to be a Class A spot. And so a Class A spot is the kind where you get a little bit of money every time it plays. Those are very lucrative because that's something that you can actually make some really good money off of. And I was like, oh, that's great. And so they said, okay, so be at this studio at this time. It was like 9:30 in the morning because, of course, going from San Diego to England, where the producers of the commercial were, is like 9 hours ahead or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so they were at the end of their day, and I had just finished my cereal in the morning. And I went in the morning, and I walk into the booth, and the script is there, and it literally is a piece of paper with 2 words on it. It says, "Get happy." And I was just like, is this it? And they're like, yeah, that's it. And the guy was just like, yeah, I know it's early, just give it to me 10 times wild, which means just do it 10 times a little bit differently with a space in between. And so I was just like, okay.
Get happy. Get happy. Get happy. Get happy. Get it.
10 times, get happy. It took less than 30 seconds, and I was just like, and it was like, okay, great, thanks for coming in. I was like, thank you, bye. And I went back to doing my 8 shows a week, sweating my ass off for $550 a week. So it started running, and I hope all of you get an experience like this where you just get money out of nowhere. Because then for the rest of the summer, this is when they would still send paper checks. This is back in the day. My mailbox every single day had at least 3 or 4 envelopes from this ad agency in it, and each one had a check in it for between $200 and $1,000. So every day, so for the whole summer of doing the sweat bath show, I made probably, I don't know, $550 for like $6,000 for the entire summer, just killing myself. And I went in and said, "Get happy" 10 times and made $12,000. So those are the kinds of things that happen a lot in this business. There are some things that you'll do an immense amount of work for and get paid very little. And luckily, if you're part of a union, there are minimums that people have to adhere to. But sometimes you work your ass off for minimum, and sometimes you'll get one of those things where it's like you'll hit the jackpot and you'll get a really great job that's very, very little effort or even time, and it pays a ton of money. And so those things kind of maybe just balance out. So hopefully for every job you had to do that you had to work yourself to the bone and you got just minimum, hopefully you get a job that you didn't have to do too much and you got more than that. So that was my summer I'll never forget, where Sonic swooped in and gave me 12 grand for saying 2 words. Thanks, Sonic. Yes.
Yes, I was wondering, is Sonic Adventure, the first one that came out?
I do remember that.
Remember when Sonic dies and when he goes, no, how can it sound so generic when you did that line?
Oh, that's a good one. Why does it sound generic?
It just says no, like he wasn't putting a whole lot of emphasis into it when he dies.
I'm glad you brought that up. And I do have an answer for that. Because when we did the first Sonic Adventure, we did not get a script and we didn't get any kind of storyboards to look at, or they didn't have any animation done. We literally had a list of lines to read. And in that list was no direction on who you were talking to. You didn't know what was going on in the scene. You didn't know if that person you were talking to was across a football field or standing right next to you. We didn't have any of that information. So a lot of the lines, especially in the first Sonic Adventure, they come off not sounding quite right, probably because we just recorded the line and we didn't know how they were going to use it.
I believe you, because if you look at the characters' mouths when they're talking, their mouths don't even match.
Exactly. Yeah, the mouths are just generic too, right? And they just shove the words in.
It was constantly moving, even
Yes.
when the were done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that was kind of a downfall of the first game, that it was just kind of list of lines and we just kind of recorded them and then found out what happened later.
That happened a lot back in the early days,
It did.
especially with Sega during the Genesis era of games. I was hired to do a narration and some characters in a game called Blue Stinger. Anybody know that one? Really? Wow. Okay. So I've done all the character parts, and that's done, and they wanted me to do the narration last, which was kind of a trailer for the game coming soon from Sega. Blue Stinger. And the Japanese director on the phone goes, no. Blue Stinger. Lonnie, do it the way they want it. Coming from Sega, Blue Stinger. No. Blue Stinger. Coming from Sega, Blue Stinger. I swear I did that 70 times. And then the game comes out and they send it to me. And in the game I go, coming from Sega Genesis, Blue Stinger.
Yep. You never know what they're going to do with it.
Uh-huh.
Actually played that game, but in magazines and people on the internet, they made jokes about it, calling it a bootleg, watered-down Resident Evil for kids.
Is that right?
I bet they
I'm
did.
not surprised. It was not a very good game. It's certainly not the worst game I've ever been a part of.
It wasn't a bad game, sir.
Yeah.
It was a good game, but the gameplay was really bad. The character walked like he had a wedgie in his
Yeah.
He walked like he had a wedgie.
But you did do a good voice. Did you voice Elliot Ballard, or did you
That was me, actually.
You
I
were
was
Elliot.
Elliot,
Yeah.
Okay, you did the job with the voice
Thanks.
acting, but the game could have been better. But
Oh,
the
yeah.
voice acting was good.
Thank you. What was really cool, thank you, about Blue Stinger is that, and this never happens, is that they actually, the guy who played who was the name of the guy hung out with, the big dude in the game? The captain. He was voiced by Dean Bristow, rest in peace.
Dean.
And Dean and I actually got to sit in the booth together and do our scenes together, which never happens.
Was that's the one. All
That's
these
the one.
years I've been trying to remember what game was it we recorded at Bill Corkery's studio that all of us were in the studio
we were in there together.
That never happens.
never happens.
Oh my God, it was Blue Stinger.
It was Blue Stinger.
Wow.
And since Dean is no longer with us, I really
you.
treasure that we actually
Thank
got
you.
to record together like that. Yeah. Take care.
Thank you. I've been racking my brain for years trying to remember
I
what
wish you would've
game
called
was
me.
it.
Yeah, totally.
I
That's it.
should have.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I miss those days.
Yeah, I know. It was cool. It was cool.
That was so fun to act with other actors simultaneously. I
And
should have
Dean
done
was,
stage.
Dean was the sweetest guy.
He was.
And so good at
Yeah.
everything he ever did. And he was an old school guy. He actually he one of the first stories he told me, for those of you that know his work, was that he was a judge for a talent show at a high school in Dayton, Ohio, back in the 80s, and a young aspiring voice actress got up and did a little bit, and that was Nancy Cartwright, the voice of Bart Simpson, when she was in high school. And he was just like, yeah, you're really good. You should keep doing this. And then she became Bart Simpson. So without Deem, who knows if Nancy Cartwright would have pursued that dream.
Right.
So thanks again, Deem.
Cool.
Yeah, we've had you guys. Okay, yeah, in the light blue. Hi, Xavier.
And I want to ask you guys, what was your guys' favorite project you've worked on, both Sonic and non-Sonic related?
Favorite project? John St. John.
All of the Duke Nukem games.
Favorite stuff? Anybody?
Sonic Unleashed for Sonic projects, and I just did a dub of a live-action French show that's on Amazon called Alphonse. If you have not seen that show, you should see it. Put on the English dubbed version. I am the voice of Alphonse. It is not for the weak of heart. My mom got through one episode and said I'm not going to watch any more of this. But it is a fantastic show. I don't want to ruin anything.
Alphonse. For me, I mean, I loved doing this series, but for the games, I actually really enjoyed doing Sonic and the Black Knight. It was a lot of fun for me. I have a lot of favorite shows, but I have to go with Pokemon. It's been from starting on it when we didn't know what the heck was going on to now where I've been through almost all the seasons and I'm working and directing on the new series. It's something that has just been a part of my life in a way that I never thought it would be. Told me back then that I would. Well, if you told me that I would be sitting here, I would have been like, "You don't know what you're talking about." Yeah. I would have been like, "That's great. I'm going to go try and pay my rent." Yeah. But yeah. So that would be. I would have to say that is my favorite show.
That's what's crazy. It's like when John and I started doing the Sonic games. That was 1998. That was a quarter century ago. And I don't know about you, but I mentioned this a couple times today to a couple of friends I met earlier that when we got that first game, Sonic Adventure, I just kind of up.
Sorry.
We just I know I kind of thought it was just going to be one game. I thought it was going to be like a weekend worth of work. You know, you don't know what to expect. Mm-hmm. And if someone would have said 25 years later you're going to be sitting in a panel talking with you guys, it blows my mind. Favorite Sonic thing, as much as I love all the games, I'm actually going to have to say Sonic and Tails R, the YouTube series, simply because it's just fun. It's just fun. There's no paycheck involved. There's no directors involved. There's no pressure involved. It's just be Sonic and create these scripts, and it's been so much fun to work on that.
You didn't get that shoebox full of money?
I didn't.
Oh,
I didn't. Yeah.
Neither did I.
Yeah. And as far as non-Sonic goes, I mean, maybe this is kind of a cop-out answer, but I'm working for a company called Seasonal Visions Incorporated, and they make Halloween decorations. They make holiday decorations, but mostly Halloween. And so if you go into any fans of the Spirit Halloween stores when they pop up, or anytime you buy Halloween animatronics at Home Depot or Target or Costco or whatever, there's a really good chance that it's me doing it. And I've always loved robots, and Halloween is my second favorite holiday in the entire calendar year. And so the fact that I get to work on Halloween stuff is just a heck of a lot of fun for me.
Bonus.
Can we get a little sample?
Sure. I'm trying to think of an actual one that I did. Oh yeah, there was the maniacal dentist. He's got like drills on his hands, and he's got like this dentist, and then there's blood everywhere. And he says,
Make sure you brush your teeth after getting these treats. Open up and say, ah!
Nice.
It's just so fun.
Were you involved in the Legoland stuff?
I was involved in Legoland.
Okay, so Ryan and I both have this in common. We do theme park character voices. So in San Diego, there's Legoland, And I'm still to this day, I mean, how many years is that now?
That's also like 25
Still
years.
voices at the attractions at Legoland. And then Dolly Parton hired me to... Seriously, to do an animatronic buzzard at Dollywood. You guys familiar with Dollywood? So non-video game, this was my favorite. The audition and the recording was done in Rancho Bernardo in San Diego. And when I saw the criteria for the audition, I thought, okay, I'll try. You have to speak in an authentic Tennessee accent. I was raised in North Carolina, wasn't too far off. You have to be able to sing on key. I sing professionally, not a problem, and sound creepy. I'm like, okay, how are those three things going to come together? But they did, and to this day, there's you see this audio animatronic buzzard 5 times while you're waiting to get on the Mystery Mine ride, and I'm that buzzard.
We all have to go. Who wants to go to Dollywood? Let's all go.
Ooh, I want to go. I want to go to Dollywood.
I'll book the plane tickets.
I have a question for you guys. Do you remember the Game Boy Advance 3? Did anybody play Sonic Advance 3? Okay, here's what you didn't know. The menu announcer, Sonic versus Tails. Sonic Advance 3. That was me.
That's him.
I get a lot of announcer roles, mostly because of the big bombastic thing. But the Sonic game was, like this. Everything had to be exciting.
Are we doing
Where
okay
are
on
we?
time? I just want to make sure. We still got time? Okay.
What time we got?
Cool. Who hasn't had?
We got 10
way
minutes.
in the back. We haven't heard from you yet. Hi, Brandon.
Hi, Brandon.
Hi, Brandon.
If you got to name one Sonic game that's going to be made, which one should it be and why?
One Sonic game that should be remade. I'll go first. Sonic Adventure, for sure.
My answer is the same.
Great guts, but the technology has improved, and I would actually love to read from a script. Just little things. But I would love to get my hands on a remake of that.
Yeah.
Would love it. Also that. Also a quality
Yeah.
answer.
Agreed.
Yes.
I only agree because I'm in both of those.
I'd say Sonic Pinball.
Oh.
Just because I just now remembered that game for the first time in 30 years. And I thought it'd be really cool to say.
That's cool. Ditto.
Ditto.
Ditto. No, it's Heroes and Adventures and Pinball. I don't know. I just, I think it was perfect the way that it was.
Okay, never mind. No pinball.
No,
Sonic CD.
No,
That's the one.
I think it should be redone for the glory. There you go. That's what I said.
There it is. Anybody who hasn't had a question yet? Yeah?
This is Arendira.
Or as you said,
Arendira.
has been using nonstop to harass me at work.
Hi, Arendra.
You're welcome.
Everybody say hi, Arendra.
Hi, Arendira.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But anyway, from one voice actor to another, one of the things I love to do is to go back and listen to my bloopers or to rewatch bloopers on TV. From all the things that you guys have done, whether it's movie or TV show or voice work, what's your favorite or most embarrassing blooper?
Can't say. There's several files out there floating around 4Kids databases that should never make it, never see the light of day. Because sometimes you're just having a lot of fun. And I remember doing a string of, I had to do station tags like Fox 5 and all this as Sonic. You're watching Fox 5. You're watching Fox 5. And there was a couple I just couldn't get out. So it would just be a string of profanities as Sonic. Those are somewhere out there right now, which is the scary thing.
Can we hear one live, please? Please?
You're watching 5.
Sorry.
Is Noah still here? I apologize, brother.
He said
Remember,
Fox.
Noah, we've used these words in a sentence.
Yeah.
That makes it okay.
And that baby left, so all your fault.
Yeah, there's a and Joey Vegas used to put them all together on a he used to put them all together on a little blooper get together for the holidays. which no one will ever see or hear. But we did do on a separate thing, not on any of the Sonic or the for kids. We did do a bunch of some of the earlier collections when they would send stuff out. They would have the bloopers on them, and when they were all good. And I remember there was a whole blooper reel for Berserk that I did from the original out, and we had done a party scene, and so I was just. They were like, keep going, and all of a sudden I was like, all right, then I'm gonna come to the party. It's good. And I was like, I did my cousins, and I was like all in the thing, and then so there's this like great little there's like these little extras that are off on there, so it's good. If you ever see that, you'll hear me. But
I can't think of one. Do you have one?
I can't repeat them. They were all from Duke Nukem Forever.
Yeah.
And even though all of the dialogue in that game, and if you have any interest at all, was written by two women. All of the lines in Duke Nukem Forever were written by two women, and they're very naughty. But the ad libs that I did are far naughtier, and so I can't repeat any of them here today. Sorry.
I just dropped the F-bomb as Sonic.
Yeah.
at your request.
Oh.
There you go.
I have another F-bomb, but it's not the F-bomb you're thinking of. There's a game, and I forget what platform it's for, but it's called Zax. Does anyone remember this game? Z-A-X? I don't know. Look it up. Maybe I was drunk. No. But I did the voice of Zax, and it was just one of those things where it's just like we're just kind of messing around between takes, and they ended up putting it in the game. And the director had said, let's finish up this script, and I'll take you all to Fuddruckers. And
hey, watch your mouth. There are children here.
What could have gone wrong?
So as Zax, I just said, let's go to Fuddruckers. And they put it in the game. And I was just joking around, So that's not really a blooper, but that was kind of fun.
There's a game that just came out last year called 12 Minutes. And it's with Willem Dafoe and a couple other people. But there's phone numbers you can dial to get different answering machines, and they let me go wild and just kind of come up with my own answering machines. And one of them I did as Sonic, saying, you've reached Sonic. I'm not home right now. And they at the last minute decided not to put it in because it would have been a copyright thing. But yeah, that would have been the Easter egg of the century if that had made it in.
It's not very often that we get to ad-lib lines in games, though it does happen. Your Fuddruckers obviously was one. I had one in Duke Nukem that I got to do because my son heard me recording. His bedroom was next to my studio. And in the game, for some reason, I'm going, that guy's a real douchebag, right? My son comes and knocks on the door. He goes, are you recording? I went, it's okay, come on in, because it was self-directed session. And he goes, Dad, nobody says douchebag anymore. I said, what? He goes, we say douche nozzle. It's the dirtier part. And so I said, that douche nozzle is asking for it. And it got in the game as an ad lib. So, yeah. I thank my son for that. And incidentally, my kids are all grown and gone now. They're, in their 20s and 30s. But my kids didn't care that Dad was the voice of Duke Nukem or Big the Cat or any of the characters I did. They never cared. The only thing they cared about was when I was doing sound design for Nickelodeon. Every time a SpongeBob SquarePants DVD came out, I was the voice on it. And since I was doing sound design at that time, you guys grew up watching it, I take it, you'll remember their logo was the orange splat. You heard me so many times as the sound of the splat. When it hit the screen, I took 3 of a dozen takes. I took 3 takes of me going... I found the 3 that were best, put them together. Nickelodeon used it for years, that when it hit the screen, and my kids thought that was the coolest thing.
They're right.
And told all our friends, my dad's the splat. Yeah, big deal.
All right, we got time for maybe 3 more. Ooh. Okay. Anybody who's the first?
How about that young lady in the back? She's been trying to get her hand way up there. There she is.
Hi, Evangeline.
Hi, Evangeline.
Oh no, my table is broken?
Okay.
Okay, you first.
Are you recording? In what voice? Oh, Big the Cat.
Yeah.
Oh no, my table is broken.
Oh no, my table is broken.
Oh no, my table is broken.
I am the ultimate life form. And I can't fix this damn broken table.
Well played, sir. Well played. Two more?
Two more. Anybody? We've got anybody who hasn't asked a question yet?
Santa hat?
Santa hat?
Okay. Yeah, also, another thing, with the remakes of the Sega games coming out, how do you feel about the future of Sonic the Hedgehog currently?
How do we feel about the future?
The future is bright.
Yep.
If there's anything I've learned from, I just started doing these appearances as of earlier this year, and if there's anything I've learned, it's just the fan base is incredible, and there's so many people are so passionate about Sonic, the whole franchise, and it means so much to them, and especially these people who watched the shows or played the games, and it just helped them overcome something terrible in their lives or gave them the positivity they needed to succeed. Like, it's just such a great. It's so wonderful to hear, and it just I love that going forward for the whole franchise. I think if more people are inspired or more people are taken out of a dark place because of Sonic, it's the future is bright.
Here, here.
What Jason said. It's so cool that for so many people, maybe people in this room, a lot of you have used Sonic as an escape from. Maybe people didn't have the best home life. Maybe people got bullied and they went home and they found power and they found something to really dig into with Sonic. And I don't know, but for me, that's just the coolest thing to hear. It's one thing to make a fun game, but it's unbelievably cool to give somebody like a real gift in life through something that you were lucky enough to be part of.
And it definitely strikes a tone with a lot of gamers out there, because I was in Syracuse, New York last month. This con brought me in as the voice of Duke Nukem. Didn't sell a single Duke Nukem autograph. All my Big the Cat autographs were sold.
Wow.
There is a huge Sonic the Hedgehog. If you guys get an invite to Syracuse, New York, take twice as many autograph cards with you. They love that game, and Big the Cat especially. So, yeah, Sonic the future's so bright. Yeah.
Who gets our last question?
Last
today?
question. I guess we got to go back to Noah, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
For Brian Drummond, how did you get the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog? And have any of you seen the new Sonic the Hedgehog restaurant?
Yeah.
What? There's a restaurant?
Yes.
You
There's
mean
a
that pop-up one?
They were showing it to me.
Yeah.
Wait, do they have like hedgehog burgers? Or
Yep.
Did you go? No. Yeah.
Well, where
Did
in
anybody
San
get to go?
Diego?
It was a pop-up with Comic-Con, right?
wow.
Yeah, but it's been moving
is it
around.
But it's been
temporary?
making the
around,
rounds.
yeah.
Yeah. I
Really?
haven't seen one in real life.
I feel
I
like
bet
the
it's
que-
next to Chicken Charlie's in the gas
Okay.
lamp.
I think the
so.
question to
chili
ask is,
dog.
where in the world is Sonic San Diego?
Diego.
Yeah.
Is that it?
And what was
Is
the
it-
other question? I'm sorry. I auditioned for it. Yeah. Oh. Okay. No, I had been doing voiceover work at a company in San Diego called Lightspan Partnership, and I'd been doing a raccoon who did math problems. And the guy who ran that, I just told this story earlier, so one of you is going to hear it twice. The guy who ran that studio was a guy named Rick Bowman, and Rick Bowman is good friends with Lonnie Minella, the casting director that John mentioned, and Lonnie Minella knew a guy at Sega named Keith Palmer. And so when they were looking to cast for the Dreamcast system, Keith mentioned it to Lonnie. Lonnie said, come to San Diego. I know all these people. She talked to Rick Bowman, and Rick Bowman was like, I'm working with this guy named Brian Drummond. He does a raccoon for me. I bet he could do a hedgehog for you. And so that's how I got invited. I didn't know anybody. I just got invited because I happened to do an animal voice that did math problems, and got into the audition and just ended up getting it.
Can I ask one quick question of the panel here? In my voice acting career, I've played to the best of my ability to remember 17 animal characters. How many have you done?
Oh my gosh.
I bet a lot.
Yeah. a lot.
80 to 90% of every voiceover has been an animal.
Yeah. Yeah.
A monkey, a
Dozen.
dinosaur, a deer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You played a deer?
Oh, yeah.
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 Was he chill? Was he really chill?
So, no, well, I played a polar bear who's even chiller, It's all Pokemon. It's all Pokemon at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a lot of animals.
Animals are popular things to animate and talk because
Yep.
who doesn't love animals? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, friends, for
Thank you
being
very
here
much.
today. Appreciate that.
You've been a beautiful audience.
Thank
I hope you guys have
guys.
so much fun for the rest of today, and if you're coming back tomorrow, let's have more fun. All right?